"24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on anything.
It is another Wednesday night and you are just on time for an hour and a half of news, views and reviews served with the extra touch of fine details from NTA News Top Table. You must have noticed how super excited I am tonight. Well, this is because I am still basking in the euphoria of my win at this year's edition of the Nigerian Media Merit Award. Yes, faithfully clinched the award for the best newscaster of the year. I guess this can only motivate me to sustain the tempo of excellence that the News Extra team is known for. Thank you all for all the felicitations. Now, to the main business of the night. House of Representatives investigates attacks on INEC offices nationwide. Race to the presidential villa gathers pace. Candidates engage prospective voters on plans for development, economic recovery, job creation, security, and other key issues. Still in politics, there is a new sheriff in town in Osun who moved into town with some executive orders. Politicians and the citizens are having their say on the new order of things. From frying pan to fire, Owerri Correctional Center escapees arrested for kidnapping. In education, the Federal Executive Council has approved the National Language Policy with likely considerable on classroom interactions between teachers and pupils. In sports, Delta State takes colorful opening ceremony to usher the National Sports Festival. We have these and more on our lineup. You know the taste of the pudding is in the eating, so stick around for the full details. I am Fatima Buba, and this is News Extra. And you can also follow this news live on our website, nta.ng/live, NTA News Now, and other social media platforms displayed on the screen. We begin with FEC. Primary school pupils across Nigeria are now to be taught in languages of their immediate environment, otherwise referred to as mother tongues, in the first 6 years of elementary education. This followed the approval of a new national language policy for the country by the Federal Executive Council. Minister of Education Adamu announced this while briefing journalists after the council's meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports on this and other resolutions adopted at the high-level engagement of the nation's policymakers.
This is the first time in decades the national language question will be formally addressed with this mother tongue teaching policy at the highest level of government in Nigeria. The intention is not only to ensure that primary school pupils assimilate better at elementary education, but also an attempt to safeguard indigenous languages in the country.
According to UNESCO, in the last few years, 29 languages in Nigeria became extinct. Even in Bauchi, I believe there is a language that is spoken by less than 10 people. Since their children are not learning, I believe in the next 20 years, that language will disappear. And once you lose a language, you are losing more than a language. You are losing a whole mindset, a whole world view, a cultural heritage that developed in that.
Theoretically, the mother tongue teaching policy starts immediately, but the minister said full operationalization depends largely on how soon the required teachers will be employed and the instructional materials in the nation's indigenous languages will be developed.
The objective of this policy is to promote and enhance the cultivation and use of all Nigerian languages. When the policy is fully operational, each locality will teach students in primary 1 up to 6 in their own mother tongue. Let's say in Lagos it will be in Yoruba, And then from junior secondary school, you continue using English along with the native tongue.
With this new policy, your arithmetic, your mathematics, your nature study will be taught in your mother tongue. And it has been proven scientifically that children do better when issues are explained to them in their mother tongue than in another language.
Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami secured the Council's approval for the engagement of consultancy firms that will help in the deployment of technology in building specialization, developing checklists, and providing technical services towards ensuring that necessary protection is accorded the federal government in drafting contractual agreements with third parties.
We are all aware of key incidences that happened as it relates to contract administration in Nigeria. One of them that is fresh in our memory is the P&ID, on account of which the federal government was by arbitral award subjected to a liability of over $10 billion on account of deficiency in the contract, which translated to a high risk. We are equally aware of the global steel contract relating to Ajakuta, the defect of which contract subjected to the federal government to higher risk and indeed stagnated our development towards industrialization on account of the fact that for over 2 decades, Ajakuta could not perform arising from the litigation. We are equally aware of similar contracts relating to Sunrise, on account of which litigation our dream to have Mambila could not proceed on account of litigations relating thereto.
The engagement of the consultancy firms at over 630 million naira, the minister explained, is aimed at protecting the federal government from further engaging in higher risk and defective contracts that may lead to litigation and enormous monetary damages capable of undermining national growth and development. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
In the meantime, the federal government has approved over 24.1 billion naira for the construction of a befitting housing accommodation for Deputy Inspectors General of the Nigerian Police. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, who announced this at a media briefing, said the approval followed a memo to that effect presented by the Ministry of Police Affairs. State House correspondent Adam Sambo again reports.
The befitting housing accommodation for the Deputy Inspectors General of Police is to be constructed under a public-private partnership arrangement. Virtually at no cost to government, the 39 luxury apartments will replace the existing dilapidated DRG quarters now to be demolished along Ghana Street in the highbrow Maitama district of Abuja, the nation's capital.
Very luxurious apartments would be redeveloped, and 24 of them will be taken by the private sector that provided the funding, while the 15 will be used by the police. All we have offered is our land, and after the expiration of the lease agreement, the entire 39 buildings reverts to the Nigerian police force, and even while the agreement is on, the police is entitled to 1.5% of whatever rent is collected, from the 24 apartments, which will be taken by the private sector.
Another public-private partnership project approved by the Council is on research and development of satellite technology and equipment for the provision of cost-effective satellite broadband service to rural Nigeria as well as the underserved communities.
Essentially, is to provide very cheap, reliable, affordable, high-speed fixed broadband to particularly the rural areas. If you will recall that at the moment, the broadband penetration is very, very low, abysmally low. And we need to increase that, complementing what the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy is also doing so that we can reach the underserved and, of course, the rural communities in particular.
NASDA is the lead agency in the partnership deal with the private sector, expected to design, finance, build, operate, and transfer the facility to government after a 15-year concession period. On his part, the Minister of State, Budget and National Planning, Clement Agba, briefed the Council on the 2022 third-quarter GDP report recently released by the National Bureau of Statistics, which he described as encouraging.
Democracy that we preach about is delivering the greatest good to the greatest number of people. I think on the federal government side, we are doing our best. And I'm sure Wike told you guys about monies that we released, over 500 billion to the oil producing states. And I've seen some disclaimers from the states saying the small money they are getting on a monthly basis. And some are giving some half-truths. We need to hold them accountable so that together we all can grow our economy.
Describing Bayelsa State as second to Sokoto in terms of poverty rating in the country, the minister said the issue is not about availability of money, but indeed its application. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And away from that, if you have ever fallen victim to any Ponzi scheme, then our next report should sound like music to your ears, as there are lessons in it to be learned. As the year winds down, the Securities and Exchange Commission is drawing attention to the impact of fraudulent Ponzi schemes that continue to erode investors' confidence and threaten operations within the capital market. Pastor Abel was at a continuous investor education program in Abuja and tells us more.
A pattern that has come to stay is the rush for everything when each year ends. From travels to shopping and investment, everyone seems to be in a hurry. The Securities and Exchange Commission is creating more awareness on financial safety, and this time with the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC. This partnership seeks to fight against online fraudulent schemes and to enlighten members of the Corps on the benefits of investing through the right channels.
A key aspect of the sex market development role is enlightenment and investor education.
So the money market basically is the short-term market where you buy short-term securities.
Pursuit of money, a lot of people run into problems.
Some of the participants of the Investor Safety Talk have been victims of fraudulent investment and Ponzi schemes.
I'm one of them inclusive. We are falling into the traps of Ponzi schemes. They tell you bring one like that. So it has really given me a lot of confidence again, and which I can as well tell others.
We have learned a lot today, like when it comes to bonds, buying of shares, and safer ways to invest and where to put your money.
The central message of utilizing only credible sources for investment is pivotal here, and for both agencies, the practice will continue until they permanently eliminate the hills of bad practice in the markets. Boss said they able continues.
For legislative matters now, for exporters who have been owed export expansion grants between 2007 and 2020, this story coming from the Senate is one that should make them heave a sigh of relief. This is because the legislators have approved 308.4 billion naira for the settlement of those claims. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Umpo has the report.
On the 21st of September 2022, Senate mandated its Committee on Local and Foreign Debts to scrutinize President Muhammadu Buhari's request for refunds to 3 states of Taraba, Yobe and Kebbi for federal roads executed by the state government. 2 months after, the committee has scrutinized the claims by the states and recommended that Senate approves refunds to Taraba and Yobe states to the tune of 21.134 billion naira, while it stepped down that of Kebbi state for failure of the state government to appear before it to defend its claim.
Visits were carried out by the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing on all the federal roads completed by the states and ascertained that the quality of work done met the required standards
Kebbi State government badly need this money. This road is in a very deplorable condition.
That the Kebbi State government be invited to defend its claim before the committee as soon as possible.
So please write your letter today if you can, just to make sure they get it in time for them to prepare, because they need to prepare.
Senate received President Muhammadu Buhari's request for the confirmation of 15 nominees as chairman and members of the Niger Delta Development Commission, with Loretta Onochie as chairman and Samuel Ibokun as managing director. Senator Issa Jibrin, through a motion of urgent public importance, drew the attention of the Senate to the tanker accident in Olofu of local government area of Kogi State, where 30 persons and several vehicles were burnt.
Accordingly, the Senate resolves to urge the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to intervene in the plight of the victims of the petrol tanker explosion in Olofu of local government area of Kogi State through provision of palliatives to the victims.
Meanwhile, Senate has implored the federal government to promote robust reading culture in Nigeria through the development of modern classrooms and libraries. This followed a motion by Senator Frank Ibezim, while the motion by Senator Abdullahi Yahaya calls for the suspension of the 700 megawatts Zungeru power plant.
I'm convinced that there is an urgent need for the Senate to act speedily and call for collaboration between relevant stakeholders in Nigeria's education sector who can assist in making the issues of cultivating a reading culture a national issue.
Urge the National Council on Privatization and the Secretariat, the Bureau for Public Enterprises, and other MDAs concerned to suspend indefinitely the proposed concession of the 700 megawatts in Geru electric power plant in Niger State, pending the conclusion of investigation by the Senate Committee on Power.
Similarly, the Senate Ad Hoc Committee investigating the disbursement of development funds to 36 states of the Federation, led by Senator Sani Musa, has invited the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria and other concerned agencies for clarifications. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
It has been attacked too many, and now the Green Chambers wades in. The House of Representatives has expressed concern over the staggering 41 cases of arson on INEC facilities recorded in 14 states from February 2019 to May 2021. The House condemns such attacks, which it says are capable of disrupting the forthcoming 2023 general elections. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali tells us about the resolution of the House on this development.
The issue was raised by Representative Olariwaju Ibrahim Kule. In the motion, he recalls several attacks on INEC offices across the country, including those recorded this month.
10th November 2022, the Independent National Electoral Commission offices in Abuja South Local Government Area of Osun State was set ablaze. That on the same day, arsonists and thugs set ablaze the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC building at Okeresi at the South Local Government of Osun State.
The lawmakers urged security agents to identify and prosecute the perpetrators as the House sets up an ad hoc committee to investigate immediate and remote causes. The bill seeking the establishment of Federal College of Petroleum Technology Al-Ghali, Bauchi State from Musa Pali passed second reading. Reports on bills from House committees on tertiary education and services, health institutions and power were considered and approved.
Due diligence and processes were followed, and the product here is actually the output of a very wide-ranging engagement. The summary of our recommendations are contained in the report we are just presenting now.
Among them are bills to establish Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery Chibok, Federal College of Education Dengi, Federal Medical Center Okigwe, Federal Medical Center Agoza, Federal Polytechnic Renu, and bill to establish Chartered Institute of Power Engineers in Nigeria.
The main object of the institute is to promote the constant professional development and welfare of its members, undertake advocacy, and provide an avenue for the implementation of its objectives.
Plenary has been adjourned to Tuesday, 6 December 2022. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
From the National Assembly, let's talk politics now, as the Tinubu-Shettima Grassroots Independent Campaign Council is solidifying operations of its Security and Intelligence Committee ahead of a rank-free, credible presidential campaign and 2023 general elections. Abakar Akwanga reports.
Campaigns are on for weeks now, and their dimensions and outcomes are sometimes unpredictable owing to emerging trends. And to avoid any rancor during campaign, the security committee to get the job done.
We have reputed men and women that are here in this committee. There are people that have experience. We're going state by state to look at those that work for it to make sure we have everything in order. The election will be won by him. Win the election, definitely. He's going to do everything to make sure the election is won. He is a man that knows what it takes. You see what he did in Lagos, we tell you what he will do in Nigeria. We will do everything humanly possible to encourage them, that's at all costs, to ensure that ICC deliver. And Asuaju wins the election come February 25th.
Guarantee a peaceful campaign process and hitch-free 2023 elections.
In Akure, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has pledged to set the 2023 general elections. This was what
the Akure Democracy Park was filled to capacity as PDP chieftains, loyalists, supporters from the 18 local government areas of the state converged in high spirit to identify with the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, and his running mate, Ifeanyi Okowa. PDP party chieftains took turn to appreciate the people of Ondo State for their support, canvassing votes in the forthcoming February 25, 2023 general elections.
For you to be able to take along your own business. Atiku Abubakar is one man that I believe has the capacity, the experience to restructure Nigeria. He will unify the country and he will make life better for all of you.
The PDP candidates the people of the state for their efforts during the 2019 election, as the state recorded the highest votes for PDP in the Southwest. Among its agenda for the people of Nigeria is to set aside $10 billion to provide employment for youths and empower women who are critical stakeholders in the country, and also fund the nation education sector.
If you repeat the support again, we promise we will definitely deal with insecurity. We will eliminate it. We will also make sure that all the federal roads linking Osun State with other parts of the country are made very motorable.
Ondo State is the first state in the Southwest to be visited by the PDP presidential candidate. In Akure, Abiola Rio, NTA News.
Let's head to Osogbo now, where barely 24 hours after the inauguration of a new administration in Osun State, Governor Ademola Adeleke issued 6 executive orders bordering on employment, promotion and appointments, award of contracts, chieftaincy matters, and setting up of review committees. This development has brewed crisis in the polity, as well as misconception between the executive and legislature in respect of the governor's decision to return the state appellation from State of Osun to Osun State. Let's find out from Joshua Ogunjide the implications of this upheaval on the Osun polity.
On his resumption of office on Monday, 28th day of November 2022, the governor issued 6 executive orders which border on freezing of the state bank accounts, staff appointment and promotion, chieftaincy affairs, and reversal of Osun to its constitutional name. The People's Democratic Party had cautioned the former APC-led administration in the state of its post-governorship election activities, as the Buegurutala administration, among other things, embarked on massive recruitment, appointments, installation, and award of contracts. Ademola Adeleke administration is of the belief that these activities in the twilight of Oyetola's administration failed to follow due process as they were not backed up by necessary budgetary provisions.
So the executive orders were not just in order, but they were meant to set the state on the path of sustainable governance. So we have not sacked anybody because the payroll of Osun as at July 17 remain intact. But if you smuggle yourself through illegal means into the payroll, thinking that you have gotten a job, knowing fully whether it's illegal, then you are on your own.
The present thinking is to look at it as an either-or situation, that we either do it this way and then the only other way is to go the opposite way. But there's always an alternative, a third alternative. And the third alternative in this present situation might be to go a little bit more slowly, more cautiously, and turn it around into a win situation for the present administration.
There is a lot of problem, controversy surrounding that appointment. For example, a governor that is going, then appointed about thousands of people into the service. You know, this is suspicious, it's questionable.
Another conundrum is what can be tagged as a brainchild of former governor Rauf Aregbesola, which is the altering of the name Osun State to State of Osun back in 2011. Boyega Oyetola administration never contented with the decision of his predecessor, despite 2017 ruling of an Osun State High Court sitting in Ilesha, which declared the renaming illegal and therefore null and void. In line with the motive of the new dispensation as launched by Ademola Adeleke, the governor issued an immediate reversal to the constitutionally recognized name of Osun State, as all government insignia, correspondences and signages must reflect Osun State rather than State of Osun. But the constitutionality is being contested.
On the issue of State of Osun and all those, I want to assure you there is a very close rapport between the State House of Assembly and His Excellency Governor Adeleke. There was a meeting between the Speaker and His Excellency where a lot of things were high on us. So we don't want to go into issue of whether, but we stand by our executive orders.
From the legal point of view, I think it's very clear that the Osun State is always Osun State. That's what the Constitution recognizes.
We can see this as an ideological war. Who do we see ourselves as being? Where do we belong? So much more than the constitutionality is the idea of how do we see ourselves? What do we think we represent? Because there's more to a name than just what you're being called. It's your sense of self, it's your sense of identity.
The Osun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Timothy Owoye, has congratulated the government and
It's few months to Nigeria's general elections, and major players are putting finishing touches to achieving and a credible and transparent process. The latest at the forefront of these arrangements is the Japan International Cooperation Agency Alumni Association of Nigeria, with the media as the immediate target of the strategic engagement. Kenneth Nanim reports.
Campaigns across political parties to increase their numerical strength ahead of the 2023 general elections are gathering momentum, and the media is at the center of these engagements aimed at marketing candidates for winning elections. The traffic generated here has continued to put the media in the eye of the storm, but JICA Alumni Association of Nigeria is acknowledging the role of the media in the midst of daunting task.
We strongly believe that media is a strong partner. It's an engine of peaceful mobilization for the attainment of national development. The media has power to sway the minds of the electorate.
Experts in this hall are urging journalists to remain professional in the discharge of their duties before, during, and after the national exercise.
Have to carry along people, make them realize that you are not just reporting for reporting's sake, but you are communicating the real thing to them, so that at the end of the day, you have not misinformed anybody.
Journalists should take the part of caution and ensure that they give a fair, balanced, and objective reportage of political issues.
Deployment of digital infrastructure in the delivery of the forthcoming election by INEC is demanding the support of the media for a successful outcome.
Publish facts and figures. Don't publish misinformation. Don't publish innuendos.
publish issues.
Safety of journalists for objective and accurate reportage also dominated discourse at the forum, with a consensus on neutrality and teamwork. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari is engraving enduring economic legacies with the potential to launch the country on the global map of industrialized nations. Director of Media, Tinubu Presidential Support Committee, Kailani Mohammed, said it is undisputable that the present administration is focused on reinventing the country. Haruna Mohammed reports.
The recent oil exploration at Kulmani, Kailani Mohammed said, is one of the testimonies of the present administration's genuine desire to improve the nation's economic fortune. He said the discovery of the oil well has the multiplier effect of addressing unemployment, increase in revenue and development of host communities.
With an estimated 1 billion barrels of crude oil reserve from the new northern oil wells, Nigeria is expected to gain nearly $73 billion or 32.3 trillion at an average global crude oil price of 73 per barrel benchmark used for 2023 budget proposal.
Kailani Mohammed said, apart from economic diversification policies, which place emphasis on agriculture and infrastructural development, the recent oil exploration will add value to the ruling All Progressive Congress in the next year's general elections to retain power at all levels. Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
Time for us to take our first breather. When News Extra returns, we shall bring you face to face with unrepentant criminals who got a second chance by sheer providence, but instead went deeper into the world of criminality until they met their Waterloo. Do stay with us for this and more stories lined up in our next segment.
The next edition of the PMB Administration Scorecard Series will feature the Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed. Date, Thursday, 1st December 2022. Time, 10 a.m. Venue, National Press Center, Radio House, Abuja. The event will be covered live by NTA, FRCN and VON and streamed on the social media handles of the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Announcer, Mrs. Lydia Shehu Jafia, MNI, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
The Executive Governor of Kano State, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, OFR, welcomes all distinguished invited guests, speakers, panelists, and other participants to a one-day national interreligious conference scheduled to hold in the state. Theme, Harnessing Nigeria's Religious Diversity for Sustainable Peace and National Development. Date, Thursday, 1st December 2022. Venue, Coronation Hall, Government House, Kano. Time, 9 a.m. Co-chairman of the occasion, Sheikh Abdullahi Balalo, National Chairman, Jibwis. His Eminence, Cardinal John Onekan, Archbishop Emeritus of Abuja. Special guest of honor, Alhaji Amin Ado Bayero, Emir of Kano. His Eminence, Dr. Julius O.O. Abe, the Primate, the African Church Nigeria and overseas. Professor Shehu Ahmed Said Galadenchi, CON, Murshid, National Mosque, Abuja. You are welcome to Kano, the center of commerce. Announcer, Sheikh Muhammad bin Uthman and Most Reverend Peter Ogumuyiwa, PhD. Co-chairman, Conference Committee.
I dey look for pension fund administrator. Wait up, makes them wait care for me. No be the time when story go enter the matter when it's time to deliver. No. The brand picture them no go stress you. Call them then they accessible. Yes. Customer care where they on point. No go regret when you try up cost. Promisable investment. Everything will just be blend. Make you choose premium pension today. Make that switch to premium pension. Premium pension. Make that switch to premium pension.
Join over 700,000 satisfied members and enjoy the premium experience at our offices across the 36 states in Nigeria, including the FCT. Call 094615-700-704 to make the switch today. Premium pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
My people, my name is Emeka. Mekus Kamat. Let me get all this people. I don't learn my lesson. Somebody come buy motor for my hand, carry big money, come give me. Now when we get bust, then my eye open. I no know say that 419 be. Now when EFCC grab him, then they come grab me too. Now he make me they warn you. All of them when they do business like me, where they carry big money, when I go sometimes I go carry transfer, carry bring back. They could shine on my eye because the special control unit against money laundering, what they call SCUMO, they don't want to say if the money pass 5 million naira for individual, no collect them. If it pass 10 million naira for company, no collect them. Can I go where? Bank. If you not do them like that, 250,000 naira for every day where this offense happen. Or they go suspend your license, or they go shut them down, matter for your hand. No talk say I no want you.
This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The board, members and staff of Federal Roads Maintenance Agency FEMA invites its critical stakeholders to its 20th anniversary conference, unveiling a book titled FEMA's Firm Footprints and launching of FEMA non-toll-free short code by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari GCFR and Honorable Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Raji Fashola SAN. Date Thursday, 1st December 2022. Venue, NAF Conference Center, Kado, Abuja. Time, 9:30 a.m. prompt. Attendance is strictly by invitation. Engineer Nuruddin A. Rafindadi FNSE, OFR, Managing Director and CEO, FEMA. Announcer.
My son has always dreamt of being in the spotlight. That's why I give him Born Vita for everyday vitality that gives him the strength to pursue his dreams. Born Vita, strength to dream.
Welcome back to News Extra. How content creators can meet the demand for compelling contents by an increasingly fragmented audience on one hand, while gaining access to much-needed financial resources on the other hand, is the focus of a 2-day workshop organized by the National Broadcasting Commission in Lagos. Adeni Taiwo reports.
With available data, putting the total number of social media users who take advantage of one content or the other at 4.7 billion globally, it is quite easy to align with the assertion that creative content is now a kingdom on its own, while the audience had the kingmakers. Apart from occupying a pole position as the country where netizens spend the most time on the social media, Nigeria, through the broadcast and creative industry, is also an emerging hub for creative content, leveraging its post-COVID active digital space. This workshop, organized by the National Broadcasting Commission, is one of the agency's responses to address lack of needed financial resources for broadcast content producers, a development said to be limiting their capacity to earn revenue for the nation.
NBC is bringing together the content creators to form first group to be able to advocate for their needs from government, to say we are here and this is what we can do. We can be alternative to petroleum.
I have lots of works. I say that with deep sense of respect. I'll be able to carry my catalog to a bank and say this is my security. Borrow me money on my catalog. Put a lien or you collect money if I default.
The need for broadcast content creators to study its audience, identify an area of strategic focus, and design compelling content, these experts say, is a critical step towards attracting needed funding.
Don't run a media business. Run a business doing media. That way, you see yourself first and foremost as a business. When you see yourself as a business, then you can start to approach what you are doing with that mindset.
YouTube is now focusing on financing content from even Africa, and they are coming in with funding and financing to help support content producers to be able to scale up.
Other papers at the workshop dwelt on the need for collaboration and partnership, as well as audience measurement to guide content design. In Lagos, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
Now, if you are up to date with happenings around the EFCC, that means you are aware of the latest move by the agency to tackle corruption. It is something about building foot soldiers all the way from primary to the level of tertiary institutions, considering that corruption itself is a social malaise and grave impediment to development. How can anti-graft agencies co-opt proactive public engagement towards ending the challenge? Olabode Arewa in this next report examines the prospects inherent in this new partnership between young students and the EFCC.
A typical cultural presentation, no doubt, by these students of Model Secondary School Maitama, Abuja, who seek to disseminate the message of zero tolerance to corrupt activities in Nigeria. A society where some see nothing wrong in bribery, cybercrime, prostitution and exam malpractice show how endemic the negative culture is and what it portends for the future of Nigeria if left unabated. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has rapidly moved to curb such practices with the integrity and zero tolerance clubs it established for public sensitization on these ills.
School children are not only influential among their peers, they also wield some influence in their families and communities. It is the potential which the EFCC seeks to maximize in deepening the fight against economic and financial crimes. It is therefore important that in order to build a good future for the younger generation, they need to be sensitized to shun corrupt practices, engage in and promote honesty, hard work, loyalty.
The EFCC has also developed a manual to guide the advocacy against corruption, and the youth have displayed their support in this regard.
What I can say about corruption is that it is an illegal act and it is not good because the money or things that are meant for somebody else is being diverted to another set of people.
Exam malpractice, especially for us as students, we are going to encourage this, our new, like my colleagues, to stop it, because if we read, actually if you get to the exam, you will know what to write.
With the expansion of the EFCC integrity clubs to cover more schools across the country, the agency believes it is on the right track to supporting Nigeria's quest to attain true development. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Next is the story of two unrepentant criminals in the April 5, 2022 Owerri jailbreak. They were among the escapees and still on the wanted list, but that seems not enough reason for them to turn a new leaf, or should we say, see no more. Instead, they continue in their line of business. Unfortunately for them, the two fleeing inmates met their Waterloo as they got arrested by operatives of the intelligence response team of the force for allegedly kidnapping a female lawyer. This is in addition to their involvement in other several criminal acts in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. Let's now join Francis for details.
On Monday, April 5th, 2021, there was an attack at the Owerri Correctional Facility by unknown gunmen who threw dynamite at the walls of the facility and commanded the inmates to flee. These two suspects, arrested by operatives of the IRT, were amongst the fleeing inmates.
But now when you dey say because of you no get money or your business no do good, that make you enter this kidnapping now. But now wetin carry you go that prison? In that prison now, they show say you don't commit crime before.
One would have thought that after the Owerri jailbreak, the two suspects would have renounced crime. Instead, they cash into their old trade of kidnappings and other criminal acts within River State. Luck, however, ran out of them and were arrested after carrying out several criminal acts, including the kidnap of a female lawyer in Port Harcourt.
When are the day?
This uncompleted building is where the female lawyer was said to have been kept by her kidnappers before a 5 million naira ransom was paid. Preliminary investigation by IRT operatives revealed that the suspects had previously spent 11 and 14 years, respectively, as awaiting trial inmates in Imo State. All suspects are currently in custody of IRT and will be charged to court in accordance with the provisions of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act upon the conclusion of investigation. Francis from NTA News.
And the Center of Practical Skills, a training center and business park built by the International Center for Migration Policy Development, has been inaugurated in Enugu State. Chidi Oko-Ruafo reports.
The Center of Practical Skills was established by the International Center for Migration Policy Development, ICMPD, in collaboration with private investors as well as the Austrian Development Agency, while the operational support is provided by the GIZ, funded by the German government. The initiative is aimed at creating prospects for the local population as the skilled worker training is in line with European standards.
Foreign investment is coming in the country, so good taxpayers for the future will be resident here. And the governments of Europe have a lot of this because they are turning around the migration circle. So everybody has really some benefit out of this project.
It is an unforgettable narrative of transforming a jungle somewhere in Africa into a booming university, business park, and center of practical skills. This is an incredible success story of humanity.
This will be the first attempt to create graduates that will be imbued with the right skills for them to be relevant to their communities, to be relevant to our country, Nigeria, and to be relevant to the world.
According to the initiators, the vocational training facility, the Center of Practical Skills, and the Godfrey Okoye University European Business Park would tackle the issues of unhealthy migration, attract small and medium-scale enterprises, among others, to the country.
So, Nigeria has been included in the largest global business outreach of Austria through the Refocus Austria initiative. And this is where we come in also with this project, see how we can bring the supply and the demand side together.
The International Center for Migration Policy Development is an international organization with 19 member states and active in more than 90 countries worldwide. The organization takes a regional approach in its work to create efficient cooperation and partnership along migration routes with Africa, Central and South Asia, Europe, and the Middle East as its priority regions. In Enugu, Chidi Okrafo, NTA News.
Countries are sovereign entities, quite all right. But sometimes when it comes to growing the economy or advancing technology, they rely on each other, engaging in expertise or technological transfer. In 2014, Nigeria and the Czech Republic agreed on such a deal, and subsequently 25 Nigerian technological projects have been selected for the technology transfer program, expected to foster growth and expansion of infrastructure, manufacturing and innovation in Nigeria. Chindaman DBC reports that the project, codenamed Delta 2, is being executed by the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, and Technology Agency of Czech Republic.
There is this realization these days that technological advancement is a major trigger for national economic boom. As such, research works can be applied to lead findings and innovative solutions which will produce new high-tech marketable products and services. Nigeria's journey to practically implement the 2014 bilateral agreement, where the Czech Republic will transfer innovative and technological expertise to already existing Nigerian science and technology research institutes and companies, began 6 months ago. 285 organizations applied. These 25 scaled through the evaluation and scoring process. Unisic Oka Technozo Nigeria Limited, Bayero University Kano, National Animal Production Research Institute, National Veterinary Research Institute, FUTO, Petroleum Resources Limited, Unical, Osmania General Consultants Limited. Others are Nigerian Institute of Mining and Geosciences, JOS, Ace Solutions and Synergy Limited, Veritas University, Abuja, Aldrap, Futa, Cortex PLC. The rest are Woods Lab Innovations Limited, American University of Nigeria, Yola, Flag Rock Nigeria Limited, Chemtech Farms Limited, Federal University of Petroleum Resources, Futamina, Siri, Federal Polytechnic Offer, and National Metallurgical Development Center.
Projects to be funded under this program are expected to have direct and immediate positive impact on the lives of average Nigerian farmers, miners, and Nigerian business community through development and growth of SMEs.
Provide local companies and organizations with the right technological solution and platform to expand their business opportunities in order to develop our local content. Provide an avenue to move ideas from the lab to our market.
The established joint projects must begin between 1st January to 30th March 2023. The PIC Naseni will award the funding from January 2023 following the conclusion of agreements on the provision of funding with the lead organization of the selected projects. Funding will be available for 36 months.
They will be matched up with counterpart organizations in the Czech Republic and are expected to develop new creative products and applicable research results that are producible and can be commercialized. The Czech government is committing $10.5 million, the Nigerian government $5.7 million. In Abuja, Chimdima Ndubisi, NTA News.
The digital space is increasingly expanding and evolving to accommodate more players who are using innovation to solve everyday problems, which has opened windows to competitions to adequately manage legal issues that may arise in the telecommunications sector. Adeola Akere reports that a 2-day workshop organized by the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) in collaboration with the judiciary in Lagos is to equip judges with the requisite knowledge on future of adjudication in digital age.
The rise in social network platforms, which set the stage for unprecedented platforms of social interactions, exchange, collaborations, and dialogue, has no doubt engineered positive changes with multiple avenues for entrepreneurship. However, this is not without challenges, especially as regards the ownership of online content and materials.
We need to ensure we spell the rules of engagement very clear, so that those who are participating, in that segment of the telecommunications, sector, will appreciate what the rules are, ensure they comply with them.
This workshop is therefore designed to prepare the judiciary for imminent increase in litigation, while also exposing participants to peculiarities of adjudicating conflicts in an era of digital presence and online identity.
It is essential to lay a solid foundation on what adjudication and by extension the judicial system means in the digital era. It's imperative for the judiciary and the entire legal system to continuously embrace new innovations that will always advance the course of justice delivery.
Chief Justice of Nigeria represented said the synergy is vital in deepening the experience of judicial officers to keep them abreast with global best practices.
Nigerian judiciary is committed to employing cutting-edge technology to enhance justice administration and provide our citizens with the justice system they deserve.
The workshop expected to lay solid foundation towards building capacity and increase knowledge to the body of law is part of federal government's drive for a digital economy geared at supporting national development and economic diversification. In Lagos, Adeola Komiakere, NTA News.
Thank you so much, Adeola. Our next break beckons. We'll be right back.
Day, life presents hopes.
dreams and challenges. Challenges that can become successes with a little help. Because a little help can empower you to go from despair to celebration. A little help can keep you going until the race is won. A little help can turn bundles of anxiety into a bundle of joy. And with Glow Data, you get much more than just a little help. You get the biggest data deals in town to make every day glow with small wins and big wins. Dial *777# to select your Glow Data plan.
Ooh, this food is delicious. Can I have my bitters now?
Okay.
What is this? Is this my bottle of bitters?
Yes. Any problem?
Any problem? No. I'm not going to take them. I want my yo-yo bitters now.
Darling, but that is bitter.
Look. Let me tell you. Yo-yo bitters is bitter. It is unique in formulation and effective in action. So take this funny stuff away and get me my yo-yo bitters now.
Yo-yo bitters is naturally enriched with ingredients that flushes out the body impurities, tackles waist pain, and resolves constipation. It is also fortified with vitamins. Yo-yo bitters boosts your body immunity against diseases and free radicals.
Because it is different in formula and action, I don't accept substitute.
Yo-yo bitters, clean inside out.
This blessing be yours forever to keep a calm and peaceful sleep.
Removes mosquitoes so you can sleep a calm and peaceful sleep. Good night, Electric.
Does your toothpaste give you complete fresh protection? New Close Up Toothpaste Complete Fresh Protection takes care of your 5 important oral care needs. It gives you strong teeth, prevents tooth holes, cleans deeply, fights bacteria, and gives you fresh breath. Complete fresh protection from Close Up.
Growing up in a big family, there weren't always enough seats at the table. So we started eating on the floor so that we could enjoy our food and cokes together. To remind us that the most important part of any meal is being together.
It is with sadness and in submission to the will of God that the family of Right Honorable Goodluck Nana Opia of Oboru Abacheke Ebema in Ohaji Ebema LGA of Imo State mourns the untimely exit of their wife, mother and grandmother Ezine Florence Nkemnaso Opia, née Okunwa, 1964 to 2022. A service of songs will be held in her honor on Thursday, December 1, 2022 at Right Honorable Goodluck Nana Opia's compound, Abacheke Ebema, time 4 p.m. Funeral church service at St. Michael's Anglican Church, Abacheke Ebema, on Friday, December 2, 2022 at 11 a.m. Interment follows after church service at the family house, Abacheke Ebema. Outing service on Sunday, December 4, 2022 at St. Michael's Anglican Church, Abacheke Ebema. Late Ezine Florence Nkemnaso Opia is survived by her husband, Right Honorable Goodluck Nana Opia, Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Education, 4 children and 3 grandchildren, son-in-law, brothers and sisters, including hosts of other relations. May her soul rest in peace. Signed, Right Honorable Goodluck Nana Opia, husband for the family.
Thanks so much for staying. It's time for us to talk business, and we have Musa Abakar on Business News. Musa, it's over to you.
Thank you, Fatima. Oil prices rose by over $2 on Wednesday on signs of tighter supply, a weaker dollar, and optimism over a Chinese demand recovery. Capping gains, the OPEC plus decision to hold its December 4th meeting virtually signals little likelihood of a policy change. A source with the direct knowledge of the matter told Reuters on Wednesday. Brent crude futures rose 2.81% to $85.36 per barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures climbed 2.7% to $80.33. At the capital market, the equities market closed Wednesday trading session in positive territory. The all-share index climbed 0.71% at 47,660.04 basis points. A total turnover of 107 million securities valued at 1.3 billion naira exchanged hands in 3,227 deals. Equity capitalization increased to 25.9 trillion naira. The financial services industry led the activity chart with FBN Holdings, Fidelity Bank, and Zenith Bank. That's a quick look at business news. Fatima, is over to you now.
Well, thank you so much for the business package. And now to further deepen post-insurgency recovery drive of the federal government, stakeholders in Yobe State are working on a template to comprehensively address farmers' herders' conflict in the state. Adam Yusuf reports that this came to fore at a multi-stakeholder dialogue held in Damaturu.
Yobe State is an agrarian state blessed with vast fertile lands, convenient for both farmers and herders to undertake their trades. Over the years, however, there had been reported cases of conflicts between the two parties, which each accusing the other of encroachment. To complement government's effort in finding lasting solutions to the clashes, this town hall meeting was convened to brainstorm ideas among other stakeholders in the state. In their separate inputs, both leadership of herders and farmers associations in affected areas advocate an end to the menace that has claimed lives and property of their members across the state and country.
We expect that at the end of this workshop, stakeholders from Gujba and particularly from the communities affected by this conflict will be able to have a working document so that that is locally informed.
It is gathered that Yobe State is in the league of states in Nigeria with highest number of livestock projected to be over 8.6 million in Damaturu. Adam Yusuf, NTA News.
In another development, Nigeria's population managers have inaugurated a national action plan to accelerate implementation of Nairobi commitments. The priority area revolves around sexual and reproductive health, as well as rights of women and girls. Olushe Adiagbo brings us details.
Are we ready to keep the promise?
It is 25 years since a new wave of thinking and narratives was given to population commitments at the International Conference on Population and Development, ICPD 25 in Cairo, Nairobi. 179 governments adopted an action plan set to be achieved by 2030, and at its center is a zero preventable maternal mortality, zero unmet need for family planning, as well as zero gender-based violence. For these key players driving the Nairobi commitments in Nigeria, the West African nation is not doing as expected even after 3 years, more thanks to COVID-19.
1 out of every 200 Nigerian women dies while delivering a child, according to a recent report from WHO.
But these population managers still believe that with deliberate efforts, the world agenda is achievable and making a clarion call for meeting the funding needs.
The National Action Plan is designed to guide the implementation of programs and interventions that will accelerate progress to achieve the commitments made in Nairobi.
It is important, though, to notice that the plan aligns fully with the Nigerian Development Plan, which places also family planning at the heart of sustainable Nigerian development.
The celebration of 3 years of Nairobi Summit on ICPD 25 in Nigeria is themed Sexual and Reproductive Justice as a vehicle to deliver the Nairobi Summit commitments. In Abuja, Olushe Adiagbo, NTA News.
and the need to enhance the total well-being of persons living with sickle cell disorder has again been brought to the fore. This was at the maiden edition of the National Dialogue on Better Life for Sufferers. Obeka Amarachuku reports that the event was put together by Osun State Foundation and Yakubu Gowon Foundation.
Sickle cell disorder is a nightmare not only to those who suffered from it, but also to family members of the victims. To address the challenges faced by sickle cell warriors informed this gathering on how best to address the sickle cell disorder in the society.
We believe that engaging adolescents will be more productive for us students in senior secondary school, in tertiary institution. It will be, to us, those should be our target. They knowing their genotype, knowing the reason why they should know their genotype, and knowing the implication. So for us, that is what we are doing at the foundation, really. Yes.
I appreciate science for coming up with genetic study of cells of individuals and arriving on compatibility.
Lead speakers at the dialogue calls for more engagement and advocacy in tackling the menace being faced by these warriors.
That sickle cell individuals not only have a life, but they can impact on themselves to the greater society beyond their calculations.
It's an illness that other people go through. Just the way people cannot relate with the pain of the sickle cell patient. I'm talking about the physical pain. They also cannot relate with it.
In Abuja, Omenka Marchuku, NTA News.
Let's test your knowledge on pharmaceutical acronyms. Do you know what APIs stand for? Chemistry and pharmacy students and practitioners would readily tell you within a second. But for you that is hearing for the first time, it stands for active pharmaceutical ingredients. That is now to the meat of the story. The National Drugs Policy 2021 states that availability of appropriate medicine is critical to a functional health system. However, record shows that countries in sub-Saharan Africa import 70 to 90% of essential medicine needs. That's the problem that attracted the attention of West African Postgraduate College of Pharmacists and the National Institute of Pharmaceutical Research and Development. Uche Ogochukwu reports.
Vast medicinal vegetation, numerous research work lying on shelves. Yet, Nigeria and the rest of West Africa depend on importation of raw materials and other medicines, despite the numerous institutions on ground. This scenario has made the region vulnerable in the medicine supply chain, as evident at the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic.
The institute secured grants worth about 6 billion naira from the Japanese government to establish the first nanotechnology laboratory, which is focused purely on drug development and phytomedicinal arrangements in Africa.
Active pharmaceutical ingredients, APIs, are the substances in drugs that are responsible for the beneficial health effects experienced by consumers. For instance, the acetaminophen contained in a pain relief.
Indeed, Nigeria and by extension Africa has the potentials to locally produce these active pharmaceutical ingredients. What then is the bane?
Some of the multinationals, they depend upon their parent companies abroad, making sure that their active ingredients come from there. The major problem is funding, because without funding, you cannot take it further.
In this meeting between NIPRID and the West African College of Pharmacists, ideas and experiences would be shared to ensure medicine sufficiency in local production and finished products.
A lot of experts that have produced a lot of active ingredients which we need to work on, and Naseni is now encouraging them to get all those experts from the university to work with us with NIPRID.
NIPRID has certified that it's good for use. We can as well place it under custom receipted list
that you can't import these ingredients because we have it available in Nigeria. It's not just in Nigeria. So many other countries in Africa are beginning to work towards that direction, and even in Asia.
With these commitments, the West African region could become a hub for local manufacturing of APIs and other essentials of medicines in years to come. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has said the death of former Chinese Communist Party leader Jiang Zemin has robbed the country of one of its remarkable leaders. Reacting to death of Zemin at 96, President Buhari recalled that the late Chinese leader had put his country on the path of economic progress by opening it up, thereby preparing China, the second largest economy after the United States. According to President Buhari, Mr. Zemin had demonstrated that with visionary leadership, a country can achieve economic growth through independent models. President Buhari said the late Chinese leader would be particularly remembered for the role he played in successfully helping China to join the World Trade Organization. The president also noted that Jiang Zemin was a consummate and skillful leader who contributed to the peaceful transfer of Hong Kong's sovereignty to China in July 1997 after 156 years of British rule. Women hold sway in our next segment. Help for victims of gender-based violence. The Akwa Ibom example is simply worth emulating. This is News Extra. Do stay with us.
Never again should this happen. We have passed through this path before, and it was not good for us. I remember the horror, the crime, the blood, dead bodies everywhere. I almost lost my mind. I could not sleep. I remember the cry of innocent children. Many lives were changed forever. We shall never go through that path again. Let us all stand in solidarity with our armed forces, our men and women. Oh, we must stand in truth, in honesty, to build a vibrant nation, a nation that you and I can be proud of.
It's joy to the world.
Oh yeah, it's that time of year again.
FRCN, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria's Service of 9 Lessons and Carols ushers us into the joyous mood of Christmas.
With beautiful renditions from different choirs that will lift our spirits.
Theme, Fear Not.
Venue, National Christian Center, Abuja.
Date, 4th December 2022.
Time, 3 p.m.
Message giver, His Eminence, Most Reverend Daniel Oko, President, Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN.
Special guest of honor, His Excellency, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, GCON, Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Hosts, Directors General, FRCN, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria.
Chief host, Alhaji Lai Muhammad, Minister of Information and Culture.
FRCN, NTA, and Voice of Nigeria's Service of 9 Lessons and Carols, supported by Christian Association of Nigeria.
Come worship with us as we celebrate Christ, the newborn King.
Be there. Third Friday in 20 years.
Out of his roads, now you can get a GoTV decoder, just turn on, and 1 month of GoTV Jolly for only 4,900 naira, and enjoy all the show-stopping games live from Qatar on GoTV.
Looking fresh for your date? Get even fresher with Close Up. New Close Up Triple Fresh formula. It cleans deeply, fights 99% of bacteria, and cools intensely, keeping you protected and fresh.
picture.
Fresh. Still fresh. Still protected.
Feeling cool and protected.
All day confidence to get close. New Close-Up Triple Fresh Formula.
How did I get here? It all started shortly after I graduated from MSTC, the Model Skills Training Center, with a certificate in ICT. I successfully developed a data management program that has been called the software of the future. Thanks to its success, everyone wants it, and as you can see, now everyone wants me. But I'm not alone. The skills training programs at MSTC are equipping young Nigerians to become the next big success story. Whether it's ICT, mechatronics, facility technology, electronics and computer networking, or culinary studies, a certificate at MSTC is the way of the future. And just like me, there he is. Everyone will want you to.
Developing the nation's human resource.
Men do not like overconfident women. Don't touch me without my permission.
I'm a playful guy and I do get carried away sometimes.
You are selfish, manipulative, and you are a narcissist. That's all I've done for you. What have you done for me? She called me Barry.
You know my mom doesn't know any better, right?
You say that now, but then when you see your mother, you start to act like you're a dead man dog. You were supposed to be more careful. I've been. Clearly not enough.
Welcome back. Let's now take you back to politics. The All Progressives Congress says it will continue to place premium on women and youth empowerment initiatives if given another mandate in the forthcoming 2023 general elections. Wife of the APC presidential candidate, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, gave the assurance while flagging off the Tinubu-Shatima Women and Youth Campaign for the Northwest in Katsina. Awal Haliru has that.
The APC Women and Youth Presidential Campaign team, led by the wife of the presidential candidate, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, had in attendance women from the 7 states of the Northwest, including first ladies of the 6 states of the Dawn. The women demonstrated their resolve to working for the success of the APC in all the elections. Earlier, the wife of the APC presidential candidate, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, accompanied by the wife of the vice presidential candidate, Nana Kashim Shatima, as well as APC women leaders, paid a visit on Governor Aminu Bello Masari. She appreciated the governor for his support towards the success of the APC in the 2023 general elections.
I know we've come a long way. I want to thank you for years of friendship and support. God will bless you as you are rounding up your terms in office.
The structures you will see that are in existence under the current dispensation of the APC is a structure from CPC structures that have been in the state established by President Muhammad Buhari. We are all beneficiaries.
The governor assured more support for the success of all candidates under the APC during the forthcoming elections. In Katsina, Awal Haliru, NTA News.
The Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Talon, has condemned in strong terms the murder of a Labour Party woman leader in Kaura local government area of Kaduna State, whose husband was also shot but survived and is receiving treatment. The minister, in a statement, regrets that this is happening even at this period of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, describing the act as an attempt to further intimidate other women, lending their voices to amplify the differences in democracy. The minister notes that every man, youth and woman has the right to choose and belong to a political party of choice without fear of intimidation. She, however, believes the perpetrators will soon be apprehended. And in line with the ongoing 16 days activism to end violence against women and girls, civil society organizations concerned about public health assures that victims no longer have to die in silence, as there are various interventions to cushion the effects of violence and abuse while the fight to end such acts intensifies. This sounds like good news, and to crown it, Ifeoma Aikoje reports that the interventions are no more only for women, but they also include the interest of the male folk.
As the 16 days activism to end violence against women and girls continues across the globe, a check on the activities of some health-based civil society organizations reveals that a lot is being done to reduce the spread of violence and abuse, especially against women and girls. In Akwa State, for instance, records show that victims of various forms of violence have received some degrees of attention.
For the Gen GBV, physical and emotional violence, we have over 2,300 cases in Akwa State. While for the sexual violence, we have 303 cases, sexual cases in Akwa State. And out of these 303 cases, we administered PEP, post-exposure prophylaxis, to 183 of them.
We have over the past few months attempted to ensure that all rape victims have access to HIV and AIDS services.
Interestingly, stakeholders of civil society organizations revealed that the drive to end gender-based violence has gone beyond sole attention on the female folks, as efforts towards ending violence against boys and men is now also on the front burner.
Some men are going through some forms of violence, and because of the norms, who says men don't cry, they don't want to talk about it, and this can affect their health negatively.
We have to do a lot of sensitizations, awareness, create a lot of awareness and give people that opportunity to actually come in and report these cases.
It is good news that victims of such acts should no longer die in silence, as activists sue for prompt report of such cases to appropriate authorities for necessary interventions. In Uyo, Ifeoma Aikoje, NTA News.
Time for us to join Chukwunoso Mwabweze for happenings in the world of sports.
Hostilities continue Thursday at the ongoing 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar, with the Atlas Lions of Morocco taking on Canada in their final Group F encounter. In Group E, 2014 winners Germany will have to secure the maximum 3 points against Costa Rica and hope their European counterparts Spain beat Japan if they are to qualify for the knockout stage of the tournament. Hosts and defending champions Delta State began its title defense on a positive note, winning first gold medal of the 21st National Sports Festival holding in Asaba, the state capital. Team Delta cyclists beat 3 other states, Oyo, Plateau and Lagos, to emerge winners in the 12-kilometer mixed relay decided on the Abuja Road Wednesday. Other sporting events are set to get underway after the official opening ceremony of the festival at the Stephen Keshi Stadium, Asaba. And golf has been described as not only a form of physical and mental exercise, but a veritable sporting tool which can promote global relations and business investments. These were the views of participants at a golf tournament at the IBB International Golf and Country Club, Abuja, to kickstart the 30th anniversary of the Free Zone Scheme in Nigeria.
I believe that we have strong reasons to celebrate the achievements of the Free Zone Scheme in Nigeria, and I believe on this auspicious occasion would like to congratulate Mr. President, who has given all the support to the development of free zones in Nigeria.
So we're using sport as a medium for connection. We know that the most important things for connection are sport on one hand, you have politics on the other hand, and so we're using all those means to be able to reach out to all our various brothers all over the continent.
That's sports update. I am Chukwunoso Mwabweze, NTA News.
The death of a prominent politician and former Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Dr. Paul Onongo, has been described as a great loss not only to his family, but to the entire country. May his soul rest in peace. And with that, we conclude News Extra for tonight. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Remember to always stay safe. I am Fatima Umabuba.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
This is the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Again, a lot of progress also has been made here. We are just around the toll gate in Ibadan, on the Ibadan side. Again, we are suffering delays right now. The Oyo State government is building a drainage channel across the road. So we are having difficulties. The contractor has slowed down. We have slowed down also because we don't want to finish the road then they cut it again to build drainage. On the Lagos end, we are working on the last 6 kilometers into Lagos. That is a very, very highly densely populated area. We left it for the last because we knew it would be the most difficult. So again, there with us, we are hoping that very soon there will be relief there.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Nigeria is Africa's most populous nation, with cultural and media influence throughout the entire continent. But it's facing a conservation crisis. Its wildlife and national parks are highly endangered by poaching and illegal logging. It's the epicenter of the illegal trade in ivory and pangolin scales, with tons of product representing thousands of animals seized in recent times by customs. It has strong demand for illegal bushmeat that endangers animals and risks introduction of zoonotic disease. But Nigeria could be a conservation leader. With Lagos leading the way, Nigeria is updating its wildlife legislation. It's improving its wildlife law enforcement, and it's revolutionizing its public awareness. WildAid and its Nigerian partners are launching the largest ever conservation awareness program in Africa to drastically increase coverage of wildlife issues. Working with government agencies, working with the media, working with prominent Nigerian ambassadors.
Report suspicious activity and wildlife crime.
To promote Nigeria's national parks. To promote wildlife law enforcement. To raise awareness of the dangers of illegal bushmeat. And to promote